Hello, my darlings. Happy Tuesday to one and all, and welcome to a speed build. On a Tuesday, I'm trying to mix up my week a little bit because we had lots of Let's Build the Worlds last week. So I didn't want to bring another one of those out, just to mix up the timeline on my YouTube. And also, I'm probably going to go along the lines of bringing Let's Build the World out towards the end of the week now, just so it gives me enough time to, get some other things done. And those other things consist of this first off, which is going to be a lovely speed build. We are building a medieval tavern today. I really wanted to just get back into building some more fantasy sort of different kind of speed builds rather than your generic houses and all of that kind of good stuff. I wanted to build something a little bit more with a fantasy element, so that is what I went ahead and did, and this is what we have produced. So I've actually made this a residential lot. I didn't make it into a bar lot because of the gameplay. We'd have lots of Sims coming and they wouldn't have looked like they belonged in a medieval tavern. So I made this into a residential lot and just moved lots of medieval Sims from the gallery into this lot. And it worked out really nicely. It really did. So that's what it is. It's a tavern. You could easily make this into a bar. But I didn't want to go down the route of adding TVs and stuff in here as well. It just wouldn't have made sense to me or made sense to the build. And that is what's happened. Yes, it has. So we are in the world of Windenburg on the summer home lot, which is that 40 by 30 lot. And what used to be one of my favourite lots to build on. I just love the lighting and stuff here. And I thought it's the perfect place for a lovely little tavern. So here it is. Here it is in its full glory. I do change the top of this thatched bit. I put the ones with the details on the little rabbits and stuff. I put that up on top of it as the build progresses. You'll see it in the video tour. Just to add a little bit more of a whimsical detail into this lot. So it is primarily quite bare. I didn't want modern stuff to be in here. I wanted it to kind of look like it sort of sat in the medieval timeline. But I have put everything that will allow your Sims to stay alive. So in the end, I ended up putting a barbecue in so they could cook on the barbecue. I do a toilet. I end up building an outhouse, but I end up getting rid of that and putting in one of those kind of pre-existing toilets that came with, well, lots of packs, but we used the one from Horse Ranch. You know, the kind of toilets that you can put down in parks and stuff. I end up putting one of them down instead. It just looks a little bit better. There is space, obviously, for your Sims to drink until they drop. Lots of mead. And there you can have horses. We've got horses and goats on this lot. It just really worked out with the gameplay and stuff. What else did I put on here? I did an inn upstairs as well, but I didn't want to do separate rooms. I kind of kept it open. So there's kind of a row of single beds on a mezzanine level above the actual pub area itself. Oh, sorry, the tavern. And yeah, really nice. But yeah, I want to get in the mix of bringing out some more speed builds that I've just got a little bit more. I want to play around again. You know, I used to play around a lot with speed builds, with just using my imagination and building all sorts of weird things like factories and all of that. I want to get into that again and just bring out a little. You'll see in the next coming weeks, I'm going to be doing lots of speed builds that are just a little bit more outlandish and a little bit more giving me chance to use my juices, my creative juices. Because I won't lie to you, I've been suffering from some builder's block lately. I really have. I've told you this before, I need a holiday, and one is coming up at the end of next month. And I just need that to recharge me, you know? And I think this is going to help me recharge my builder's block as well, where I can just freely use my imagination and build something a little bit more weird, shall we say. We love weird in this community. Not that this is weird, but this is just a little bit more. It's not your everyday kind of build, you know, and I want to go down that route again. So if you've got any ideas, and if that's another good one, if you've got any ideas of any weird builds that you would like to see me do, then feel free to let me know down below and I'll see what I can do. But yeah, expect those in the next coming weeks. Also expect we're going to be doing another charity build again. I am doing another build for the Great Ormond Street Hospital to help raise money for the Children's Cancer Centre. There's a few other creators that are getting involved with this build challenge as well. I'm going to be building a block of apartments. It's kind of like a place where parents can live and be near their children who are obviously sadly poorly. So I'm going to be building something in the next, I think it's going to be coming out next week actually, so be on the looks out for it. And if you can, obviously I know what the climate's like, but if you can donate some money, I'm once again going to be giving all of the proceeds of that video to the charity itself, so I would really appreciate your help on it, I really would. But that is coming up, you'll see that in the future. Yes, you will indeed. So I got inspiration from a few things with this build. I've been playing a lot of Parlia recently. Is it pronounced Parlia? I don't know. It is that kind of MMO, really cute sort of what would you call it? Like a crafter. There's tasks to do as well. There's no fighting in it, which I was really looking forward to having a game where I don't have to fight creatures and stuff, and it's quite cute. The art style is really cute, but I'm kind of missing the aspect of like being able to go out and sort of like defeat some creatures. So hopefully maybe that's something they could add later in the game. I know it's a very new game at the minute, but I've been having loads of fun with it. So I got lots of inspiration from that because of the buildings and stuff in that game. It's very whimsical, sort of fairy tale-esque. So that inspired me. And then I saw a couple of pictures on Pinterest from like ArtStation stuff of people who've made these gorgeous sort of like pieces of art, and a couple of them were taverns, and I was like, I'm really inspired from this, so I decided to build my very own in The Sims, and here it is, loves. Here it is indeed. And yeah, it came out really nicely, really did. But how was your bloody weekends? Mine was very nice and chilled. Went on a small hike. I didn't record it or anything. I was supposed to be camping on Dartmoor this weekend, but we had a thunderstorm, and that was my first ever solo camp that I was going to be recording for my other channel. And I was just like, I don't want to be on Dartmoor, which is very high up, in the middle of a thunderstorm. So I was being very careful and safe. And yeah, that was out of the window. So I'm not going to be able to do it this weekend, but the weekend after, I'm going to be doing my first ever solo camp. So expect another video on my other channel in the next coming weeks, my loves. Very much looking forward to it. Yes, I'm indeed. But hope you had a lovely one. Tomorrow we are back with, in fact, I'm not even going to spoil what we're coming back with tomorrow. I am going to be renovating something, and that's all I'm going to be saying. I'm going to be renovating something that's already pre-existing in the game. Another EA build, so that's what I've just wrote it. That's what we're doing tomorrow, so expect that. The video might be out a little bit later tomorrow as well, because I'm yet to finish that, so I don't know how long it's going to take me tomorrow. So yeah, just be on the looks out. So out the front here, I really wanted to add in some kind of area where they can come out and sit outside like you would in a tavern with big open doors, and have a little drink. They do sit down on these chairs as well. I made sure to make it apparent that they could, so they will sit down and have a little drinky poo outside as well, which is very nice. And inside, actually, I'll show you in a sec, but I do like this kind of medieval Viking sort of hearth in the interior with like big open fires and very Skyrim-esque. I really wanted to do that in here, so you'll see that a little bit further on. But I was out here getting all of the details in. I went to town on kind of tiny details with this lot, and it kind of pulled it together really nicely, as they always do. But yeah, it was really nice. A little bit of bunting as well. What is a medieval tavern without a bit of bunting? Now, I made a mistake here because I lifted the build up before, after I'd already placed stuff outside. So I did need to go around and finely tune stuff and make sure everything was kind of sitting well. I just wanted this lot to be a little tiny bit raised off the earth, just so we could get some interesting kind of shapes with the paths and stuff coming through. And it just adds a little bit of a dimension to the build as well. I mean, I don't like the terrain tools in this game. They're just a bit naff. But sometimes they really do make a build. They do. Ignore this path as well. I go and finely tune this. It's the bit I put on the end I didn't like. I ended up changing that a little bit, but you'll see that a bit further on. Yeah, this bit here, I just didn't like that. Needed to be different. The shape was just, I left it. I was like, yeah, we'll come back to you. But I used kind of soil all around this lot as well. I didn't want to go for any kind of like paved stone or anything. Back in the day in those medieval times, they would have just chucked some lumps of granite down on the floor and be done with it, you know? So I did something a little bit different. And this is me coming back to that path and just doing something just a little bit different. It's very similar, but it's just a little bit more rounded. And I finally tuned that a little bit more as well. Mix it up as well with a little bit of these kind of like stones, just to act like those granite stones that I was just talking about, where they just throw them down and they're done with it. But yeah, came together very nicely indeed. Using some debug. What is debug? Using some debug fencing all the way around as well. You can see I used that ranch kind of gateway entrance as well. I just wanted a little bit of a gateway because I knew over to the left of the build I wanted to put in like a little area where your horse could come in and you could go into the tavern and stuff. My creative juices were flowing when I was doing this build, I won't lie to you. But there was a few builds before I got this one right, and I was just like, no, this is the one. And they weren't taverns. I was doing, what else did I try and build? Oh my god, I can't even remember now. I cannot there was one that was an industrial kind of like factory, and I was just like, I started to build it and I was just like, oh, no, I've done this too many times. I'm a bit bored of you. Let's go on to the next one. Can't even remember what the next one was. I think it was some kind of cafe, like a shipping container cafe. It was. Started that. Nope, didn't want to do that either. So that one's gone as well. So that was where I was just like, I'm going to step away. My creative juices are not flowing today. I've got builder's block. So I stepped away from it and I came back and I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to build something a little bit more fantasy. So that's where the tavern came into play. And yeah, it really worked. Really worked indeed. So you can see I kind of used those Desert Lux kind of awnings just over the area of where your horse would come in, or horses. And I just thought it worked. It worked really nicely. And I ended up getting some little baby goats for this lot as well. And it's really cute because you can just see them jumping around in the video tour. They're so cute. I've not really played around with the baby goats either. So it's quite nice to actually have a lot where I can actually use them. And yeah, very nice indeed. And then this area here, I would imagine you like carts kind of pull into here, and all your horses, whatever you're on. And yeah, very nice. I always feel sorry I don't feel sorry, but trying to get a good video tour with this without like people walking past on their phones and stuff was proven a little bit difficult. So every sim that was walking past, I was deleting them as they were coming through. I was just literally deleting them. But I feel sorry this is where that was coming from. I feel sorry for the kind of like decade challenge players. They must have some mods installed where sims don't kind of spawn onto your lot wearing, dungarees or what have you in like the mid 1600s. Yeah, I wonder how they do that. I would like to do a decades like build challenge one day. If that's be something that you're interested in, let me know down below. And we could probably make that into a little bit of a mini series, to be honest with you. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Let me know. But yeah, lots of fine tuning with the terrain paints as well. This is where it's all started to come together a little bit for me. This as I was building this, I was just like, the lot just kind of looks plonked on. So until I got the trees kind of surrounding it, and then I started to do everything else with the landscaping that you'll see in just a second, it was just looking a little bit non-realistic, unrealistic, shall we say. And it's the funny thing, as soon as you get into the finer details, how everything starts to come and make a lot more sense. And this is what happened here, it really did. Especially with all of these like little landscaping details that you'll see me plonk a few things around. I do a bit off of camera, like a finer tuning of all of the landscaping and stuff. But you'll see that in the video tour or when you download this build off the gallery. I will get this on the gallery at some point this week. So be on the looks out for it. I got a multitude of builds up last week. I think there was like 4 or 5 builds that got up onto the gallery. So thank you for being patient. I always do put my builds up on the gallery, but sometimes it could be a week or 2 before they actually materialize, just because I like to have a kind of collection of them before I get them on. So that's just a thing, and it just takes a little bit of time for me to go and do it, that's all. But yeah, very nice. I use these crates as well. I actually sink them down into the ground. I just thought they added a little bit of storytelling, shall we say. And I put some rocks out here and I sink these down into the ground as well. But yeah, I'm just really happy with how this whole build came out. I thought it was very nice, and it was so nice and refreshing to do something other than kind of realistic houses and all of that kind of good stuff. But that doesn't mean to say I'm bored of doing that, not in the slightest. I just need to find some more inspiration again, really. That the build juices are lacking, shall we say. And the only thing that is going to fix it is a holiday. I know it, and I've got one coming up, so it's fine. I will make sure to get pre-recorded videos out while I'm away this time as well. So you will have a few videos for the 2 weeks that I will be away. So be on the looks out, my darlings. But yeah, this looks there. I like this little area with the rocks and the trees and stuff. I just thought it looked really nice, and it just blended in the story of this tavern. Very nice indeed. So this is where I started to do that outhouse. I mean, the outhouse does look cute. It does. I like how it came out, and I just put in one of those kind of handmade toilets into it. So it kind of like, it looked good. It did look good, but I just thought the shell that the pre-existing kind of toilet that I use, you'll see it in the video tour anyway, looked a little bit better. But nice to know that we can do a little cheeky outhouse and it still looks nice. And then I use the werewolf door, I think, on the front of it. And yeah, cute little outhouse there. Outhouse there. Are outhouses the thing? I mean, I've used some at some of the Airbnbs that I've stayed with the composting toilets and stuff, and they're always fucking riddled with bloody spiders, aren't they? So you're always tense on the toilet trying to have a poo, and you don't want to be tense while you're trying to have a poo. Why do we always end up talking about poo in my videos? That is a question, and a question that I'm not willing to answer, to be honest with you. More landscaping. I do quite a bit of landscaping in this place. I use a lot of the trees as well from the surrounding areas, a lot of the pines or like forest trees. You can see I put some mosquito kind of like animations around the outhouse as well. So in gameplay, it just looks like the place absolutely stinks, which I could imagine it would. But yeah, very nice indeed. Using some of that dry grass as well. I didn't show you how I used that, but I just thought that added a little bit of texture and different color into the lot itself. And you can see I put a tent and a well and stuff down there as well. I think I did record that. I must have been yapping about something else when I was doing it. This bit here was proving difficult to place. I didn't know where to put it. And I put it here in the beginning. But when I got into the interiors, I realized it was actually into the interior. So that area does change too. Yes, it does. But we're into the interiors anyhow. So this is that little hearth that I do. So it's quite a big kind of like, this would have been where everyone would have congregated around and been by the open fire, cooking their meals and whatnot. I end up doing something to get the animation of fire without being scared of having fire in here. You'll see that in just a second. But it did work. It worked really nicely. And yeah, glad I went down this route. Now, realistically, you would need some kind of open ventilation in the roof for this to be able to be viable and work and not choke everyone to death. But I didn't do that, so everyone's going to be dying. But I'd use these camping stoves from the Get Famous expansion. Then I sized them all, every single one of them, down to a minuscule amount. And it just brings a nice bit of fire. And then you don't have to turn the fire on and off. It's just always flowing. And you'll see it in gameplay now. It just looks really cool. I thought that was a nice little touch. And then I go around with some, what they called again? Trellis? No, not trellis. What they called again? Spandrels. There we go. Got there. Put some spandrels around it as well. And then just put in some of these lovely log benches all the way around. And then I mix up that with some rugs and stuff underneath of it, just so it looks very comfy. And then we do straw rugs all the way around this tavern, just because that's what they would have used to kind of soak up the stench of everyone's pissing themselves, to be honest with you. No, but you know, that was easy to come by, a bit of hay. So I end up using this everywhere. And it was really effective, especially over by the bar area. You'll see that in just a second. But yeah, very nice. Very pleased with how it came out. I think it's very whimsical, I'm going to say. Very whimsical, but I don't know. It's good in gameplay as well. And it would make a great pub. You could easily make this into a pub. You'd have a few things to add in, like a TV and stuff. But I didn't want to go down that route for this one. I wanted to have it as this. And yeah, came out well. Used a lot, as always, as always. Well, it is kind of as always because I've been using it since it came out. But Horse Ranch, again, coming in clutch and being a great pack to be able to build with, especially when you're doing kind of this era sort of build. I just love it. I love the furniture and I love everything about it. Maybe not so much the gameplay. I don't mind the world. The world's okay. I do need to get up there and build a little bit more there, actually. So maybe I could do that. Maybe a little saloon or something in the future. But yeah, we'll do it. We'll definitely do some more builds. I forgot what it's called. Chestnut Ridge. I definitely want to do some more builds there because it's a really pretty world to look at. I do enjoy it. But yeah, this is the bar area itself. So the same tables as outside, inside. I didn't want to like any kind of like tall table. I wanted like stools on the floor to make it kind of look semi-realistic with the medieval times, shall we say. And I thought it worked really well. And I love the straw on the floor. Very much so. And then upstairs on the mezzanine level, as I said, I wanted to make it into a bit of like an inn. So I do a row of single beds, each with a nice little side table. Didn't want to do separate rooms here. I just thought, why just do it as this on a big mezzanine, and it just kind of like acts really nicely, especially for gameplay. If you're doing like a nice bit of decade sort of challenge gameplay, I think this would be nice to have everyone kind of sleeping in the same room. Kind of realistic in my humble opinion. And I end up putting up a few table and chairs up here as well, just in case they want to come and sit by their rooms, by their beds, to protect their belongings and their chests or whatnot, you know. But anyway, that's it, to be honest with you. Yeah, lovely little build. As I said, I will get it up on the gallery for you lovelies. I'm going to be back tomorrow with a renovation, so just be prepared for a bit more of a later video, I would imagine, tomorrow. And then we've got Let's Build the Worlds coming. We're going to be on the final week of Cobblebottom Row, and you get to see the video tour at the end, which is going to be coming on Friday. So yeah, you'll have that to look forward to as well, my sweethearts. Yes, you will indeed. You're going to go and watch a video tour now, and I will see all of you beauties back here tomorrow. Goodbye.